welcome to this Asia Project Spotlight session as part of our Breakbulk Europe Connect 21 World Project Expo series. We're so delighted to have you all here joining us today on the days that we should have been together at Breakbulk Europe in Bremen, and hope that you're enjoying connecting, networking and learning with peers, albeit virtually, for this year. Before we get started, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping points for this session. Firstly, this webinar will be available on demand after the session, so not to worry if you miss any of it, you'll be able to access it at a later date. And if you have any questions for our speaker, please ask them in the Q&A tab on your right-hand side, and we'll share them with the speaker and publish his responses in our Breakbulk One newsletter over the coming weeks. I'll shortly be handing over to our speaker for today, Wei Zhuang, Regional Manager Asia at BIMCO. But before I do that, I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsor for this session, Seaports of Niedersachsen. We'll now play a short video from Seaports before kicking off with the session.
Good day. Thank you very much for the Breakbulk invitation to make it possible to chat with you online. And I think it will be very interesting to share the views with all the industry stakeholders at the Breakbulk 21. My name is Wei, and I'm the Asia head of BIMCO based in Shanghai. So today I would like to share the BIMCO's views from the Asia's perspective. This is my agenda, and first of all, I will speak a little bit about BIMCO. Also, I'm pretty sure most of them, if not all, you know BIMCO or BIMCO's products. Secondly, I would like to say a few words about the disruption caused by the COVID-19. The third is Hotspot in Asia project. And the fourth, I think it's worthwhile to mention that the RCEP, RCEP. Last but not least, I will also address a little bit about the standardization and the risk management, particularly from the Breakbulk and Project Cargo's perspective. Well, BIMCO so far is one of the largest international shipping organizations in the world, and currently we have around 1,900 members. And our headquarters lies in Denmark, Copenhagen, and we also have the branch offices in Shanghai, Singapore, Athens, London. And most probably this year, we will establish a fresh office in Houston. Well, we have over 50 staffs as the secretaries with different nationalities, and we every year provide over 10,000, inquiries. That's the part of our service to members. And our web page have over 3 million yearly visiting the views. And our members, actually, they come from over 120 different countries, so it is very international indeed. Most of our members are the owners, brokers, agents, and also all kinds of other entities. I mean, enterprises, they are our member. For example, P&I clubs, classic society, law firms, marine consultant, and even, PMSC, etc., etc. We don't have any kind of individual as members. All of them, they are enterprises. Well, here I would like to show a few of our reputable owner members, which is dealing with the project cargo and the breakbulk business. Some logos was covered by photo. And totally our members, owner members tonnage, the container side, they represent 80% of the world tonnage, and dry bulks is 59, almost 60%, and 49% about the tank. Well, the secondly, I think the COVID-19 disruptions. Let me give you a few of the key words. The first, I think currently we are deeply concerned about the crew change. Unfortunately, it has not been significantly improved since its first outbreak 1 year ago. I clearly remember the day when I received the inquiry from our members, because they have the Chinese seafarers and all the ports and the terminals, they tried their best to prevent them, disembarking, bargains, etc., etc. Unfortunately, today we see exactly the same picture. Maybe not the Chinese crew, but the India crew. I think it's really tragedy for the shipping industry. And the crew is our treasure of the industry. And we understand some of them have the serious mental illness. Some of them have been overworked for so long. And the reality, which we can see today, is some countries, some ports, they didn't understand and they didn't recognize their value. And from political side, I think they didn't really treat them as a key workers and provide all these kind of assistance to facilitate. And I think that the crew change issue will worsen in the future, just because you can see the second wave and even the third wave about the COVID. It is so profound. And we hope that the vaccine will be rolled out very soon, just as what I can see from here in China. All the Chinese seafarers has been planned to get vaccinated. And the other concern is the vaccine, the efficacy needed to be recognized by the WHO and needed to be recognized by different ports and different countries. Only by doing that, the world will be smooth in terms of the shipping, the different commodities, and the smooth logistics. And I also noticed recently that the seafarers who has been vaccinated is becoming a very good resources to either crew manning or ship management and to ship owners. And we are also keep very close eyes on India. It's not only because India is one of the largest the seafarers provider, supplier in the world, but also India, it means a lot to the world of breakbulk and project cargo, the market. The speedy recovery and the confidence be rebuilt, and also how to really connect it again to the rest of the world is still a big question mark. On top of that, we also see a chaos in the current world. The quarantine restrictions, it varies from different ports to ports, and the port, congestions, either partly because of the stevedores or the strikes, or just because the port or terminals is a lack of the workforces due to the quantity requirements. So that is really complex situation in our world. And also because this part, it gives the world, the uncertainty plus the imbalance between the demand and the supply. This is the slides I wanted to share with you because BIMCO, we spend so much time in terms of updating the different crew change policies and the quality requirements all over the world. And we set up a dedicated team to timely update it from website and to share with our members. Well, I think currently, if you look at the shipping market, if we are talking about breakbulk project cargo, I think the key words could be crazy. Some guys tended to think this is healthy. And if you ask, the chain of the different stakeholders, I'm pretty sure they will get back to you with different keywords. One thing is for sure, with soaring markets start from the container and dry bulk, it has been, trickled down to the MPV as well as other, heavy lift segment. And largely, as I said, because the capacity still we can see from today's market is short. That means from the demand side, we can see a lot of stimulus package start from America, and also China still keeps a very, very strong engine to boost this economy, and also the commodities and also the projects of the world. People, they are talking seriously and they're planning. So from the demand side, it's rather solid. But if you look at the supplier, I think in the older days, we can see, container side or even dry bulk, they sneak into the niche MPV market and buy carry special cargo. But now they have already, poured out. So this kind of imbalance, we estimate it will continue. And largely just because a few, symptoms we need to keep in mind. I think renewable energy, which align with the world climate change, we can see a lot of places, they have very ambitious plan. And the uptick in oil and gas projects, we also can find, as I said, because of the COVID, the both congestions and its disruptions, it's getting worse. So that could play a role in terms of explaining the market. Let's have a look about this MPV. I tend to say the tailwinds, and if you can see the two blue, the lines that represents the container and also the multi-purpose. So you can see that actually is working on the same trajectory. This is the 1 year time chart rates. I heard a lot of the stories from the market that now the owners, they enjoy the current heydays, and the logistic companies, they are so worried that they can't find a ship to carry the stuff. And for the cargo owner, they simply don't know how long these kind of crazy days will last. But all in all, we think the market will continue as the overall the majority will continue because of the imbalance, as I said, the supply and demand side. Well, here is the this chart made by BIMCO and Clarkson. Unfortunately, it's not dedicated for the MPV. It's only talk about a dry bulk, container and the oil tanker and product tanker. But one thing I would like to refer here is if you look at the March 2021, if you look at the container, sometimes we will have to reconsider what if we continue the massive new building orders like that. And the driving forces here we can see is the container. We all know that the container side is so sky high, and the liners, they're so profitable, and not only some owners but also the capital behind, they're crazy, just I think they would like to jump in this segment and to continue their fleet, or they want like to have the good returns, whatever. So actually, from the breakbulk markets, we see this kind of trend already, and many capitals just already started their new building plan. And the hot spots in Asia, I guess here we have to start with China. And currently, I think the one issue we needed to keep in mind is at the end of this year, the Chinese regulator, they will decrease, if not completely pulled out, the subsidy to the offshore wind farm. And secondly, China now imports and exports so much the steel products. Here we're not talking about the iron ore, but we're talking about all kinds of steel products, And one of the key reasons is with the rest of the world, especially America and Europe, they're on the right track. They recover from the COVID-19 plus the stimulus package, and a lot of infrastructure is on the way. That means they need so much the steel products, and the conventional areas of the world, they are still struggling with the COVID. That means their capacity still have very limited level. By contrast, China have the full speed, and they are producing a lot of the stuff, especially steel, to the rest of the world. And at the meantime, they also import a lot of the steel products. And currently, Chinese, customs authority even adjusted the steel products, the tariff. I think the partly because they wanted to accommodate this kind of the boundary in the market, and partly because they also needed to carefully look into the capacity domestically, because China still have the mission to deal with the greenhouse gas issue. And the third, in China, I think recently a lot of the refineries is on the way. And here, the refinery, I think we are slightly different from the conventional refinery crude oil. More, we call the specific or integrated the refineries, and the most about the plastic driven, because with the middle class, the consumptions, China would like to diversify a lot of refinery products instead of larger imported from the overseas. So from north to south, you can see a lot of refinery projects led by either CNPC or Sinopec, the CNOOC. And the last point about the China, I think, is really reshape the supply chain. This is no doubt, because with the rise in the labor forces, because with the strong sense of environment protection, China, a lot of industry has been removed, I think, out of China, most of it to the Southeast Asia. So this kind of reshaped supply chain is also reflects at the current shipping market. And I think that if we're talking about China, you have to realize Chinese government has made a very serious commitment to deal with the greenhouse gas. That means 2030 will be the carbon neutrality, and 2060 will be carbon peak. Here, I would like to give you one example. The China installed roughly twice as much green energy capacity in 2020 than in 2019. I mean the renewable energy. Then we are talking about the solar, we're talking about offshore wind, we're talking about different, the fuels with energy, whatever. So it demonstrates the very clear the trend, the picture that China is working on that. And I think for the Breakbulk segment, clearly it is very positive news, and it will go on for sure. Well, if you look at the other areas in Asia, I think India is still a very hot spot. It's not only because the current, the COVID situation, but also India, their refinery, the output, and their projects in terms of infrastructure, and how Mr. Modi, he will, just to continue his ways to do this kind of economy issues. So I think India, it will play a very positive role in the Breakbulk in 2021, and let's hope the COVID will be, captured in a certain level very soon. The society will be relieved from lockdown, and the people will be get vaccinated very soon. And the second, I think the hotspot will be Vietnam. And for Vietnam, I think it's not only the infrastructure, but also I think you needed to pay attention on the wind energy, onshore and offshore. If my understanding is correct, I think all the leading players now, they have already, put their footprint in Vietnam in terms of the wind energy. Well, Indonesia, we know that they have very ambitious infrastructure from port capacities and also the fleets upgrade, etc. And for Taiwan, I think the green energy or renewable energy is still the key agenda for the current ruling party. So that will be also a sustainable development as part of the economic plan. I think we'll still have a few opportunities. Last but not least, I think the RCEP, currently is the world's largest free trade agreement. And let me put it this way, I think this is the trade agreement and within the Asia and the Pacific area, then with so many cargo, equipment, infrastructure, and the raw materials, flowing, it will create more opportunities within this particular area. Of course, currently it still have a few unknowns, and the typical example is the cold relation between Australia and China, and perhaps a few of the members inside ICP still lacks of the trust. But in the long run, I think it will take off. Last part, I would like to say a few words about the standardization and risk management. Perhaps you know BIMCO just because the BIMCO, the standard contract clauses. Yes, that is the backbone of the BIMCO's business. Here, I just outline a few of the key standard contracts produced by BIMCO which may be used by your daily business. For example, the time chart parties, we have the wind time, and we have the barge hire 2008, and the void charter, we have heavy com. Absolutely, if you deal with the, just the heavy lifted business, it will be semi-submerged or the jack-up. And from the cell phone side, BIMCO, we also have the cell phone, the 2012, as Norwegian formed, deal with the second-hand ship sale and purchase. And the others, for example, GuardCom, that is the standard contract deal with the private maritime armed guard on board. And the toll count toll high, just for your information, this year we revised the toll count and the toll high. So the latest version is 2021. And we also developed a V-time chart party by providing standard contract for the floating hotel, with the developer and ship owners. So, yeah, I think the BIMCO, we deal with a lot of standard contract clauses, and most of them, when you use it in a proper way, you will be inevitably, use the BIMCO, the SmartCom. That is the online system BIMCO offered to many users. And here I just pick up a few, the big names or big users of the smart card system. And yeah, I think many of the logos you must be very familiar with. So all in all, I hope I just share the views with you. And then the last slide is about heavy card usage. You can see the whole chart is very, static development, and even during the COVID days, our business, remains strong as usual. And of course, for the owners, you definitely will enjoy the current, the peak or the good season. And for the owners, especially the cargo owner and the logistic companies, I think now is really tested your trustworthy with your partner. I think in a sustainable development, here I would like to encourage our owners, our charters, our cargo owners, and all the stakeholders. I think this is the time to build our trustworthy. This is the time to enhance our understanding each other. And let's shake hands and move forward. And last but not least, let's cross our fingers that COVID will be gone soon to some extent, and make our cargo flowing more freely, make our people flowing more freely, and make our life back to a new normal soon. So thank you for your time, and I take this opportunity to wish you all the success for 2021, and take care and be safe with you and your family. If you have any kind of questions, just let me know. My email address is zw@bimco.org. Thank you. Bye.